John is a member of a management group. He's always stressed out as a result of his long, intense workdays. On a weekend, he made the decision to play football with his buddies on a public field so that he could relax and take use of his spare time. One of his buddies cracked a joke with John as they were playing and enjoying a game of football. But it wasn't just a simple joke to him. He became upset and started arguing with his buddies. When the debate got heated, both of them were on the edge of punching one another when a friend among them intervened and asked them to cool off and sit back to speak, because if they didn't, years of friendship may be lost. So, the first step when you are in an argument is calm down and relax. We all know how arguments can go. They can start off small and then quickly escalate into something much bigger and more heated. At the moment, it can be difficult to keep a clear head. But if you can manage to stay calm, it will go a long way in helping the argument to de-escalate and perhaps even find a resolution. Don't be afraid to walk away. There are some arguments that just aren't worth having. If you find yourself in one of these, it's okay to walk away. This doesn't mean that you're giving up or admitting defeat. It can be a way to show that you're not going to be drawn into an unproductive and fruitless argument. Listen to the other person. Arguments are often about misunderstandings. If you can take a step back and really listen to what the other person is saying, it can help to clear up any misunderstandings and help you find a common ground. It's important to be able to stand up for yourself in an argument, but there's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Being assertive means being clear and firm in your position, without resorting to name-calling or personal attacks. Choose your battles wisely. Not every argument is worth having. Sometimes it's better to let something go than to dig your heels and fight about it. Choose your battles wisely and focus on the arguments that are really important to you. Understanding and recognizing warning signs. When you are in the middle of an argument, it can be difficult to see when things are starting to go too far, but it's important to be aware of the warning signs that an argument is getting out of hand. Things like raised voices, personal attacks, and ultimatums are all red flags that things have gone too far. If you see these warning signs, try to diffuse the situation before it gets out of control. Arguments are a part of life. By learning how to handle them in a constructive way, you can make them a positive force in your life. Control anger. Anger is a normal emotion, but it can become a problem if it's not managed in a healthy way. When you are in the midst of an argument, anger can cloud your judgment and make it difficult to resolve the conflict. If you can learn to control your anger, it will go a long way in helping you to find productive solutions to arguments. There are many different techniques that can help you to control your anger. Some people find that deep breathing or visualization helps. Others find that counting to 10 or walking away from the situation for a few minutes can help to calm them down. Experiment to find what works best for you, and then make sure to practice it so that you can take use of it in the heat of the moment. Triggers identification. We all have triggers that can set off an argument. It might be something that the other person says, or it might be a particular topic that always seems to cause trouble. If you can identify your triggers, it will be easier to avoid getting into an argument in the first place. Or if an argument does happen, you'll be better equipped to deal with it in a constructive way. Arguments are a part of life. By learning how to handle them in a constructive way, you can make them a positive force in your life. Walking away. The best way to win any argument is by not getting into one in the first place. By walking away from arguments, you avoid the conflict altogether. Again, this doesn't mean you're giving up or backing down. It just means you're choosing not to engage in an unproductive argument. It can be difficult to keep a clear head and not get drawn into a heated argument. If you can manage to stay calm, it will go a long way in helping find solutions. So, if you find yourself in an argument that just isn't worth having, it's okay to walk away. Talking to a friend. If you're having trouble standing your ground in an argument, talk to a friend beforehand. This will help you to better understand your position and also give you some valuable practice in articulating your thoughts. Understand your opponent. In order to win any argument, it is essential that you first understand your opponent. What are their motivations? What do they hope to achieve? Once you know this, you can tailor your argument to meet their needs and better persuade them to see your point of view. Be prepared. As with anything in life, it is always best to be prepared. This means having a clear understanding of your own position as well as knowing the relevant facts and statistics to support your case. If you are well prepared, you'll be able to better defend your position and convince others to see things your way. Don't be afraid to compromise. Sometimes the best way to win an argument is to be willing to compromise. This doesn't mean that you have to give in to every demand, but it does mean that you should be open to making concessions. By showing that you're willing to negotiate, you may be able to find a middle ground that both sides can agree on. Avoid using dishonest approaches. If you want to be seen as in the right, then you need to make sure that your methods of arguments are above board. This means no personal attacks, name-calling, or any other type of rhetoric which isn't based in pure logic. Don't be afraid to back down. There's a difference between backing down and admitting defeat. If you're able to logically see that you are wrong about something, then don't be afraid to admit it. This will show that you're willing to listen to reason, even if it goes against your initial opinion. Be prepared. If you're going into an argument, make sure that you're armed with the facts. This means doing your research and being able to back up your claims with evidence. If you're not prepared, then you're more likely to be steamrolled by somebody who is hence again. Don't be afraid to walk away. There's no shame in admitting that an argument is not worth your time and energy. If you're not getting anywhere and the other person is being unreasonable, then it's perfectly fine to walk away. This doesn't mean that you've lost the argument. It just means that you are not going to waste your time on somebody. Remembering your goals. Your goal in any argument should be to progress the discussion in a constructive way. That means that you shouldn't be trying to score points or put the other person down. You should be trying to come to a mutual understanding. Keeping this in mind will help you to stay focused on the conversation at hand rather than getting caught up in the heat of the moment. Keep an open mind. It can be easy to get caught up in your own opinion and only to see things from our own perspective. It is important to remember that there are always two sides to every story. Make sure you're listening to the other person and hearing them out before you make any judgments. Keeping an open mind will help create a more productive conversation. Be respectful. Respect is key in any argument. If you are disrespectful to the other person, they are likely to reciprocate. By being respectful, you can help create a more positive and constructive conversation. Don't put yourself in others' shoes. One way to be more respectful and to keep an open mind is to try to see things from the other person's perspective. However, you shouldn't blindly put yourself in their shoes and agree with everything they say. There is a danger in adopting someone else's opinion as your own. Make sure that you're still staying true to what you believe. Being willing to compromise. In many arguments, both parties are looking for a way to come to a resolution. If you're willing to compromise, it can go a long way in finding a mutually beneficial solution. Be open to hearing the other person's suggestions and be willing to make some concessions of your own. I hope this video was helpful for you. See you with another great video.